You've got tons of ideas, lots of stuff you need to do, but it feels a little bit like brain soup, right? Now, how do you take that brain soup and turn it into actionable, realistic plans that you could actually move forward so that you can get that stuff done and they don't remain ideas that are up here, right? I want to share with you today about a brain dump, concept of a brain dump. I'm sure you probably heard of this before. Maybe you've even heard me talking about this before, but I specifically want to share with you today about how you can turn a brain dump, the act of getting things out of your brain into an external source, into real progress. Because sometimes people ask me, okay, great, I dumped all this stuff out. Now what do I do with it? So first things first, let's get clear on what a brain dump is. So a brain dump is as inelegant as it sounds. The idea of a brain dump is simply that you are taking what's up here in your brain and you are getting it out. Maybe you're doing this with paper and pen. Maybe you're doing this with a task app. My favorite task app of all task apps, and I have reviewed, 50 of them, is called TickTick, Tick. There is a link below if you want to check it out too. It is free. It is very easy to use, and those are the two most important things about a task app to me, free and easy to use. Maybe you're using a spreadsheet. Maybe you already have a task app. It doesn't matter where you do it. The idea is that you are saying, okay, all the stuff that's up here, I'm going to get it out, because it is a whole lot easier to prioritize when stuff is out of your head than when it is inside of your head. This is also a stress reduction technique. So studies have shown that when you get this stuff out of your brain, you feel lighter. You feel more relieved because you're like, I don't have to hold it all up here. You can get rid of that feeling of, anxiety that lives in the back of your brain that just says, I know I'm missing something. I just don't know what it is or when it's going to come back to bite me in the ass, right? I don't like that feeling, and a brain dump can really help you from having that feeling. And I bet you don't like that feeling either. So once you get all that stuff out of your head, then what do you do with it, right? Now it's a bunch of stuff that's right here in front of you. And how do you make any sense of it? How do you move it forward? Well, a couple of things. So first things first is that every task, I believe, needs a clear next action, a clear next step to move that thing forward. If you look at a task, a project, and you say to yourself, no, I'll do that one tomorrow, then it's clear that the next step is not yet clear enough. You want a task, you want a tiny little step, a next action that is so clear, so easy, so low-hanging fruit that you can't convince yourself not to do it. And if the next step is bigger than that, then you want to make it smaller, right? You want to make it so clear that you look at that and you say, yeah, I know exactly what to do. What does this mean in practice? It means that instead of saying, connect with Julie, it's email Julie or Slack Julie, right? Or instead of figure out XYZ, it is something way more concrete. This is a tip. If anything on your task list says figure out XYZ, it is not clear enough, right? That is a clear sign that you're going to say, later. I'll figure that out later, right? So make it clear and concrete. Then what you want to do is decide when you're going to do that next step. It's as simple as that. When are you going to do it? This method of prioritization helps move things forward, because instead of saying, well, I have a list of a whole bunch of stuff and most of it's high priority and some of it's medium priority and some of it's low priority, and now I still am just looking at this list in analysis paralysis and I don't know what I should do or when. Instead, you're going to assign kind of a date to each of the things that you're going to do. Will these things change? Yeah, they will, right? You're not going to be perfect about it the first time, but once you start assigning the next step a place in time, a place on your calendar when you will do that thing, one, it becomes a whole lot easier to plan realistically for the time that you have available, instead of just hoping that you're going to get it all done. And it gives you a playbook to run your workday by, right? So instead of just looking at a list and saying, I got to do all this stuff, which order should I do it in? Which ones should I do? You are saying, okay, here's when I'm going to do that thing. When you start applying this next action and next action date to your brain dump, suddenly you're planning, right? You're making a realistic plan for the things that you need to do. And you'll find out some things, right? You may very quickly realize, you don't have time to do all the things that you wanted to do. And that sucks, but it is really important information for you to know, because once you know that information, then you're able to start planning more realistically, right? You are able to pull back on what you are committing to. You are able to talk to people about deadlines you may need to change, and you're able to get a realistic hold on the workload in general so that you can actually start moving things forward. If you're just staring down a list of 500 things and saying, I don't know, when should I do this? What should I do next? You are in reactive mode. You want to be in proactive mode. You want to be in charge of the things that you're doing. You don't want the day to run you. You want to run your day. So brain dump the stuff, give it a next action, clear, concrete, small, and give it a date. When are you going to do the next action? This is a really simple way to move all those messy thoughts in your brain into real plans that you're making progress on. Now, if you want more content like this in your feed, you know what to do. Just go ahead and subscribe. See you next week.